Welcome to the API training. This is a 3-week training. In the first week, we are going to learn about creating a webhook API loop using Zapier. In the second week, we are going to learn how to read API response data in JSON and XML. And in the third week, we are going to learn how to reconcile API response data with OpenRefine. So let's dive right in. If you want to follow along, you would need to create accounts in a couple of applications. The first one is Trello. Trello is a project management application that is used to um, track task level activity in a project. You will also need an account in Google Forms, and finally, you will need an account in Zapier, which will help us create what we call a Zap, which will ideally link the webhook from Google Forms to Trello. So let me head to Trello. I already have created an account, and if you're new to Trello, let me show you how this works. When you log in, you create a board, and the board will help you track the tasks for your project. So I'm going to say create board, and let me name this board as training request. This board can be set to private or public. I'm going to set this as private create board. And within the board, we can create lists. Let me name this as new request, add list, awaiting approval, add it to training calendar. So once we have the lists created, we can add cards within the list. Training 1, add card. Training 2, add card. Assuming that there are trainings being requested, during the initial phase, it's going to be under the new request list, and then we can move it to awaiting approval and add it to the training calendar. So we can add as many lists as we want, we can create as many boards as we want, and we can create multiple items, multiple cards within the list. And there is also a due date which can be provided. uh, with the due date will let us assess by what time the activity needs to be complete, and we can always archive and delete a certain activity, a card, I'm sorry. So now that we have the board set up, let me go to Google Form and create a new form. Now this form will help people request new trainings, so I'm going to name this as training request form. Okay, training request form. Use this form to request trainings for a calendar month. Please enter your name. We'll make this a short answer. Okay, Google is smart enough to identify. Please enter the topic for which you would like to request a training session. And finally, let's add a date field. Enter the due date by which you want this request to be processed. Please allow a minimum of 3 weeks. Alright, that should do. Let's mark this as required and see how our form looks like. Okay, there we have our form. Please enter your name, please enter the topic and a due date, so that should be good enough. And let's give the link. Okay, so I'm going to enter a response. There is just one last thing that we have to ensure, that the responses are going to a new spreadsheet training request form. Alright, linking to spreadsheet, that is done. Let me refresh this. Please enter your name. Please enter the topic. Say data science. Science. Okay. Due date. Let's put a due date of 30th November. Submit. Alright, response has been submitted. Let's head back to the form and we see that there is a response. Now the last thing to do is to create a Zap within Zapier. So here's how we do that. Log into Zapier, go to Explore, search Google Forms. That's the first application. We are creating a webhook from Google Forms and we are linking it to Trello. Alright, so what happens? Select the trigger new response in the spreadsheet, and what do we do in Trello? We create a card, make a Zap. Okay, Zapier is creating the Zap. Yep, name the Zap training request Zap. Okay, so it has already detected the account that I was logged in with Google. It's working, save and continue. Setup options. The spreadsheet that I want to work with is training request form. The worksheet is form responses 1. That is done. Okay, so it has pulled up some responses. Continue. Okay, what do we want to do with Trello? We want to create a card. That's good enough. Continue. Okay, it has also detected the Trello account I was logged into. That's good. And which board we want to create it under training requests. The list we want to do it is under new request. Okay, so in the name field we're gonna take the name requested to add. Okay, and due date is optional. I'm gonna have it anyway. Due date. Okay, that's the due date. And continue. Okay, so the Zap is all set up. Send a test to Trello. Finish. Ready to turn on the Zap? Yes, please. Turn on the Zap. Awesome, your Zap is working. Okay, let's see what has been done. Right, like you can see that a new card has been added under new request saying rapidly requested to add data science. So now we move it to waiting approval, and once it is done, we add it to the training calendar. Let's try another one. John Doe, awesome training, and I want it done, say October 30th, submit. Okay, so this should show up. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. So Zapier ideally checks every 5 minutes or every 3 minutes. We can also manually run a Zap. Let's do that. Run. Looking for new items. Triggering new item card was created successfully. Okay, so John Doe requested to add awesome training. Right, so there you go. That's how you create a webhook and an API, and you link the both of them using Zapier. So thank you for your time, and next week we are gonna do more API training, and that's about it. Thank you so much. Bye.